Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Fish Report Live. My name is Craig Fissinger.
And I'm Ken Francis.
And we're coming to you live from the Fish Report studio here in Russia, Ohio. It is Thursday night, April 12th, 2012, and what a busy night in the wide world of sports. Ken, let me ask you a question. If you could interview, let's say, the Reds manager, Dusty Baker, or a high school coach of a defending state baseball champion, which one would you choose?
Well, you know, Dusty Baker hasn't really done a whole lot for me lately, and his team's just playing average this year. So I guess I would have to say I'd like to hear what the defending coach has to say of the state champion Minster Wildcats.
Yeah, I'm glad you had to say that because I couldn't get Dusty Baker on the phone tonight, but we did get Minster Wildcats Coach Mike Wiss on our schedule. He's coming up after our break tonight. Really looking forward to talking to him. And last night we actually did a couple interviews with a couple other coaches, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We interviewed Russia girls track coach Marti Phelan, along with Russia boys track coach Dan Schafer. They gave us some interesting words and some different things to look for this weekend, especially at the big Minster Invitational.
Yeah, that'll be coming up here in a few minutes. And speaking of Reds manager Dusty Baker, he actually traveled with the team to Washington today. The Washington Nationals had their home opener, and local star, Versailles alum Craig Stammen had quite an outing, didn't he?
He did, and what a game it was for Craig Stammen. The game went into extra innings. Craig came into the pitch in the 10th inning. And all he did was face three Cincinnati Reds. He struck all three of them out. And fortunately for him, the Nationals pushed across a run in the bottom of the 10th. And so he was the winning pitcher in today's game. His record went to 1-0 on the season, and his ERA dipped below 2. So he's off to a great start for the Nationals.
Yeah, we hate to see our Reds get beat, but also love to see Stammen do so well. And I think the Nationals need to maybe renegotiate his contract, give him a little bit bigger deal. What do you think?
I agree with that.
All right, speaking of strikeouts, you have a strikeout-related trivia question this week, don't you?
Yes, tonight's trivia question is a tough one. I think it's tough anyways, but we're talking high school boys baseball. Here's tonight's trivia question. Name the Shelby County League pitcher who holds the record for the most strikeouts in a 7-inning game. Name the Shelby County League pitcher who holds the record for the most strikeouts in a 7-inning game. I'll give you a hint. Of the 21 batters, he struck out 20 of them. 20 strikeouts this guy had in a 7-inning baseball game. So give us his name and you win a free t-shirt from Fish Report Live.
You know, it's something to strike out 20 guys in a major league game with 9 innings. This guy did it in 7 innings.
He did it in 7 innings. And I'll give you some interesting stats about this young man later in the show.
Okay, well, stay tuned for that. Send your answer in on the social stream tab or text it to us. Our text number is there on the Fish Report Live screen. Either way would work. All right, Ken, let's get to some scores tonight before we get started. I got a few softball scores we want to pass along. What do you got there?
Yes, we do. Houston, the Wildcats are starting to play a lot better right now. They traveled to Farallon, took on the Lady Jets, and they rolled them 22-3. In another league game, league-leading Russia traveled to Fort Loramie in a highly contested contest. Everybody knew that was a big game for the Shelby County League standings, and Fort Loramie had their way with Russia tonight, posting an 11-1 win. And in a max score, we had Minster over New Bremen winning that game 19-0.
Yeah. So a few interesting stats from that Laramie game. Paige Ordine picked up another win. I know Macy Turner and Katie Eilerman had big nights at the plate. Paige Ordine's sister Ashley actually had a home run in that game, Kent, and Macy Turner tied the school record for RBIs. So big night for the Redskins tonight. And then you got a few baseball scores to pass along also.
Yes, we do. Good game. A couple of good pitchers' duels that we had tonight. First game was Houston went over to Farallon to their new baseball complex over there. They got a very nice complex that they're playing at now. And Houston came away with a 3-2 victory over the Farallon Jets. And then in the other big battle, actually the marquee game in the Shelby County League for the night, league-leading Russia went over to Fort Loramie, and Fort Loramie got the best of Russia in that game 2-0 in a fine pitcher's duel between Russia's Treg Francis, who went the distance for the Raiders, striking out 10 Redskins and pitching a really nice ball game. Unfortunately for the Raiders, he was slightly outdone by junior Seth Giozzi. All Seth did was strike out 8 Raiders in a rope-going performance, and along with that, he hit a solo home run to help himself. So
yeah. That was a kind of a fast-moving game. I don't know if you mentioned this, but an hour, 18 minutes, I believe, was that game.
Yes, an hour and 18 minutes. So that's just shows you how well of a pitched baseball game that was. So the boys' standings already in baseball, everybody has at least one loss already. And I think the girls is the same way now. I think everybody in the girls' standings has at least one loss. So pretty early in the year for everybody to have one loss already.
Yeah, a lot of parity. And then also Jackson Center and Minster played tonight. When we get Coach Wiss on the phone after the break, we'll ask him how that game turned out. So, all right, Ken, let's talk a little track. And like we said earlier, we talked to a couple Russia coaches last night. Girls coach Marti Phelan, boys coach Dan Schafer. And they got kind of small numbers this year, don't they, on the Russia teams?
They do. Both teams are rather small in numbers. The girls, I know, have 11 kids participating. But, boy, they've been successful with those 11. All 11 are great athletes, and, they've been in three big invitationals, actually, already. They've won one of them. They got second place in two of them, and they've won all their quad meets this year. So the girls are off to a fantastic start, as are the boys. The boys' numbers are down a little bit this year, but they've been very competitive, and they've got some extremely talented young kids.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at that video and watch this.
Tonight we have with us Dan Schafer. Dan is Russia's track coach of the boys. And Dan, I'd like to thank you for coming and joining us tonight on Fish Report Live.
You're welcome.
Dan, tell us a little bit about this year's team.
Well, this year's team, we started off pretty good at the Sydney Invitational. We took 7th place there with a lot of Division I schools. And then we went to Versailles Invitational, which is always good competition in the Orange Division. We finished 2nd place. And then just last week, the Anna Invitational, and we took 6th place there. So the boys have been running very well, and we have a couple issues with a couple of the boys yet, with some injuries with some of our sprinters. It's kind of slowing down our relay teams just a little bit, but the rest of the kids are really running hard, and we're starting to make a lot of headway with a lot of points. And we're scoring a lot of points in events that we haven't scored in the past. We've been scoring a lot of points in shot and disc this year, so that's a big plus for us.
That's good. How is it having this beautiful new track out here to run on?
It's awesome. Can't thank the community enough for that. The pressure was put on a couple years ago when they decided to talk about putting a track in. Before, you could always say, well, we never had a track, so how can you expect to get state champions without a track? And we get a track in the very first year we have it in use, we have 2 state champions. I don't know if we'll be able to repeat that again very soon, but I hope to. So it was a great thing for the kids and the community, and there's people up here using it all the time.
Give me a list of some of your goals this year.
Well, some of my goals this year is to get as many kids as possible to the state meet. That's always my goal. The end goal is the state meet. We want to do well at the county meet. We are hindered by numbers, but we try not to let that hinder our performance, let's say.
Well, you've been very successful in the last several years, Coach. One last question for you. Dawn is not even arguably, but probably no doubt the best track runner ever to run for Russia, and Luke Pullman. Not only has his talent gone, but also his leadership. Who do you feel stepping into his leadership role?
We have a lot of boys that have stepped up, the seniors especially this year. Colin Ball, Shane Simmons. We have a new boy on the team, Nathan Molitor. We have Dakota Huffman, Ethan Schaefer, and Tyler Francis. That group of boys, there was not one thing that they won't do for this track team. They're all team players. They want this team more than anything to win the county. It's like been my goal for 5 years, is to win county, and these boys will try anything that they can to win county. And to miss Luke, I mean, he was like a son to me. I coached him for 4 years. It was a great thing to know Luke, and the leadership that he exhibited at practice and what he did at meets was it was incredible. And Katie also, I mean, I can't say enough about these two kids. The leadership that they put forth, how they practiced the last 3 years of their high school career has set the stage for how the kids are practicing today. And they're working hard. They know that they just can't run with their friends. They have to be, if they want to be the best, they got to be out front. They got to run. They got to practice hard. And I attribute that to Luke and to Katie, both.
Well, great. Well, Coach, listen, best of luck to you this year, and appreciate you joining us on Fish Report Live.
Yeah, thank you.
We're here right now with the head coach of the Russia Raider girls track team, Marti Phelan. Coach, thanks for joining us on Fish Report Live. You've got kind of a small track team this year, but you did very well last Saturday at the Anna Invitational. You did well last night at Fairlawn. Are you happy with the girls' performance so far this early in the season?
I think the one thing that we're doing this year very well is that we are scoring in basically every event. So the runners, the jumpers, the throwers, the hurdlers. I mean, we are being able to contribute at all levels. So, we are small, but at the same time, we're just bringing points up across the board. We took second at Versailles, first at Sydney, and also second at the Anna Invitational, and 2 quads or 1 5-team meet we took first in.
Now this Saturday you have the Minster Memorial Invitational coming up. You get a chance to see Minster again after just seeing them last week. You also get a chance to see Versailles again, who you saw back in week 1. What's your feelings on competing against so often against a couple of the better Division III teams in the state?
Well, I think one of my philosophies has always been that you go against the best competition and you find out where you match up and how you're going to do. And if you are not matching up, how are you going to match up? What are you going to do to close the gap between the teams that you are eventually going to have to compete against? I don't feel that we should run away from competition. I always want to go against the best week after week and figure out how we can get ready to get to the state or to the regional, or what competition we need to close the gap on to achieve our goals.
Let's talk about some individual performers. You have a couple really good hurdlers in sophomore Jackie Seifring and freshman Leah Francis. How good can those two be?
Right now, obviously Jackie qualified in both the 100 hurdles and the 300 hurdles last year and went to state. Leah is coming along. She's having a little bit of an adjustment with going from the 200 hurdles to the 300. But, as she's adapting, she's coming right along. So hopefully she's going to finish her season very strong.
Junior Lauren Francis qualified for state last year in the 1600, ran the 1600, yet she hasn't ran that race at all this year.
Correct.
Can you tell me why, and can we expect to see her in the 1600 anytime soon?
At this point, there's not a plan on moving her. She has run 13200 at a individual, a small meet, and then she ran it at Anna and won it. And she will be running it this weekend. She did have a foot injury that we are, attacking from a very conservative angle because of, wanting her to be able to go into the postseason. So, as we've been doing swimming, we've been doing some cross training, we've been doing everything to look at May and June and not be as concerned about this point right now. She's very much in position to be able to go into the postseason. We just now have to make sure that we stay conservative and keep her healthy and don't irritate that foot.
What other Raiders have been scoring points for you so far this season?
Well, Emily Borchers has been a great addition from the junior high program as a freshman this year. She's running the 4x8. She's doing the high jump. She's also won a couple races in the mile, and she's running the 8 or the 4x4. So, the one thing that we have is we have a lot of individuals that are very much, at their limit on events because of the numbers that we have. We also have Kaylee Dews, who's a junior, and Kirsten Voisart, Kirsten Voisart was on our 4x4 relay team at the state last year, and then Kaylee Dews was our alternate. So they have both gotten a lot stronger this year with a lot of winter conditioning, and they are making a huge contribution for this team.
One last question, Coach. For any of the viewers out there that have never been to a track meet or don't have family members that run track, why should they come out and watch the Russia Raiders this season?
I think, for a lot of reasons. We have, a strong team that is able to contribute at a lot of levels. We have 2 great seniors with Abby Dries and Macy Monin who, are really putting their heart into making this a great season. And, when you look at this group of kids, they are making, Russia proud of everything that they do on every event and at every moment throughout the track meet.
Well, that's all from here, folks. Let's head back to the studio. All right, thanks to those two coaches for taking a few minutes to talk to us last night. And Ken, let me ask you, let's talk about some other teams. Like we saw in the video, or talked about in the video, got the big Minster Memorial coming up this weekend. Any on the boys' side, I want to ask you, any particular athletes we should keep an eye out for on the boys' side?
Well, on the boys' side, the team to beat is going to be the home team, the Minster Wildcats. They've got a phenomenal track team this year. They've got sprinters, they've got relays, they've got field events, and they've got distance runners. They're just a fantastic, a lot of depth, and but their distance runners are led by the Slonkowski brothers. Francis Slonkowski, the senior, all he did last week at the Invitational was run a 4:31 1600, which is just a blistering fast pace. That's actually a second faster than the Minster Memorial Invitational record of all time. So look for him to challenge that. And if anybody's going to push him, it's probably going to be his brother, sophomore Dominic Slonkowski, who again was just a mere 8 seconds behind him at the Minster Invite, or at the Anna Invite. So look for those two boys to have good days on Saturday.
Okay, and there's a pretty good pole vaulter from Houston as well, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Brandon Ike, senior from Houston. Brandon's had a great year in pole vault this year. He won the Anna Invitational last week at 12.6. Ended up clearing a season best 13.6, which for all you pole vaulters out there, that is extremely high. And last year, as a matter of fact, that 13.6 would have placed him 6th at the state meet. So Brandon Ike, senior from Houston, good luck to you on Saturday as well in the pole vault competition.
Yeah, I think he had that 13.6 a little earlier in the season. I don't remember if it was at Versailles or where exactly, but yeah, that's getting up there. So, and on the girls' side, I wanted to mention a couple people to look out for, and one of those girls will be competing at Minster on Saturday, and that is a freshman from Marion Local by the name of Allie Toby. And Ken, Allie ran at Coldwater this past Tuesday. She ran the 100 and won that. She ran the 200, she won that. She ran the 400, she won that, and she did the long jump and she won that. So won 4 events. It was a tri meet. Actually, I'm sorry, it wasn't Coldwater, it was at Versailles. But she won 4 events at a tri meet. It's doing pretty well.
That's pretty well.
She's a pretty good long jumper. I will say though, she's going to have her hands full in the long jump this Saturday because New Bremen's got a senior very good by the name of Kylie Suchland, and Kylie, I believe, won that long jump last year at Minster. I know she did a season best at Coldwater this past Tuesday. Jumped 16'7" 1/4". So I believe that Allie's best is about 8.5 inches behind that this season. So she's going to have her hands full again with Kylie. And one other athlete I wanted to mention, not running at Minster on Saturday, but another freshman from Coldwater by the name of Sarah Caney. And we know Sarah from cross country and basketball. But Sarah actually, at that Coldwater meet on Tuesday, ran in the 3200 and ran an 11:18. Which that's flying, Ken.
That's fast. 11:18 is fast.
For comparison's sake, Tammy Berger from Versailles won state last year with an 11:19. So, the closest competitor they got in this area right now is our junior Lauren Francis. Lauren she's got the best time in the area right now with an 11:50. Tammy's got an 11:53, I believe. Sarah's already got 31 seconds on them.
Right. It's a good thing they're Division II.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Probably the only person in this area that's going to push her will probably be her teammate, Christina Cease.
Yeah.
So, 2 phenomenal runners over there.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for track tonight. Let's take a break, Ken. When we come back, we're going to have that big-time interview with Minster coach Mike Wiss. So stay right there. We'll be right back.
By a single mother in the heart of the Midwest. She grew up, didn't have too much trouble, cause her mom worked hard for everything they had. She never knew her father, only knew that he was gone. She would wake to her mother crying and an empty Bible laying on the floor. Yeah. Teen with open face, she was gonna leave this town, but she fell in love, had got son, now she's paying rent on an old farmhouse. Got a job in a factory downtown, pushing out on wheels. Now it's porch cars and blue bandanas and weekend streams for you and me. All the mornings they are dancing on this side of town. She likes to smoke, takes a toll, it's just another day of a fairy tale. Oh, it's just black coffee and cigarettes. She's got a broken car and a broken smile for a past she can't forget. All the stuff is killing her, she don't know how to live. Now every day is just the same damn thing. Black coffee and cigarettes. Raised by a single mother in the heart of the Midwest. She grew up, didn't have.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Before the break, we were talking a little track. Now we're going to change topics and talk about a little baseball. And Ken, at the beginning of the show, I asked you if you would rather talk to Cincinnati Reds manager Dusty Baker or a high school coach that was a coach of a defending state champion baseball team. What'd you tell me?
Well, I said, Dusty hasn't done anything for me yet this year, so I guess I would have to choose the head coach of the defending state champion.
All right, well, I'm glad you said that because on the phone right now we have one of those coaches, and that is Minster Wildcats coach Mike West. Mike, thanks for joining us tonight on Fish Report Live.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, well, first things first, I know you had a game tonight against Jackson Center. Can you give us an update on that game?
Yeah, we played at Jackson Center tonight. We won 13-2 in 5 innings. And I think the 7 runs in the first inning kind of set the tone for the night.
All right, so you picked up a win tonight. Now, listen, we talk mostly about Shelby County League sports on this show. Occasionally talk about the MAC. So we're not real familiar with your team, but can you tell us who some of your key players are on the Wildcats team?
Well, we returned 5 seniors from last year's tournament game. Senior right-handed pitcher Doug Stewart, outfielder Ryan Hoying, catcher Rob Wente, outfielder Drew Elson, and right-handed pitcher Austin Knapke. And accompany that group of seniors with a couple of juniors and shortstop Devin Peppelman and right-handed pitcher Adam Niemeyer. We do return a good nucleus.
Yes, you do. Hey, Coach, this is Ken. If you could, I think it's not a secret out there. One of your strengths is obviously your pitching staff. Tell me about a little bit about your pitching staff.
Well, other than one out in the regional finals, we returned every pitch we threw in a tournament game last year. So people do take they think highly of having a lot of pitching back, and yeah, we do have that. Adam Niemeyer as a junior throws the ball pretty hard. He is being recruited by some Ohio schools as his junior right now, and Doug Hubert and Austin Knapke are both seniors. And the one thing that we did very well last year was not giving people free bases. And we have our days like everybody does where things don't go the way you want them to. But again, last year I think we just got to the point where we started playing some pretty good baseball, and you hope that occurs at the end of the year, and for us it did.
Well, good. Coach, this Sunday you take your team down to Dayton to play at Fifth Third Field. How special is that? Tell us a little bit about the experience your kids get by playing at the Dayton Dragons Stadium.
This will be our 4th year having the opportunity to go to Fifth Third. Our kids really enjoy it. I try to dress a few more kids that day to give them the they do enjoy it. They like taking around the infield on a beautiful place, nice field, and we try to get as many bodies out on the field as we can.
Coach, what do you feel it will take for the Minster Wildcats to return to state this year? Obviously, it takes a lot of talent, and but what do you feel are some of the unforeseen things that it's going to take for the Wildcats to get a trip back to Columbus?
Oh, I think you have to have some luck. I can place ourselves into the final game of the district, the regional, and the state semifinal, where a little bit of luck in one inning completely turned the game. And you have to have good people, good players that, obviously you got to pitch well, but you need to have that little feeling like the stars are aligning for you to be that last team standing. And for last year, I mean, there's a lot of people that will remember that forever, just as other schools in our area have had that opportunity to win a state championship. I can tell you that last year, when we were awarded the state championship, that was Minster's 26th state championship as a school. And right before we were awarded the championship, the Division I championship was played, and they gave the state championship trophy to Lakota East, and that was their first state championship in any sport. So to be a part of a school that has 26 of them is a pretty special thing.
Sure is. It sure is. Coach, this is Craig again, and one last question before we let you go. Now we know we know you played some college ball at the University of Dayton, and you played with some local guys, Ben Ernst there from Minster, and Brylan Harmer from Coldwater, and Jeff Sanders from Fort Laramie. Well, listen, Jeff Sanders is a classmate of mine. I just happened to talk to Jeff today, and he wanted me to tell you that he's going to write a tell-all book about his college days of playing baseball at UD. And I want to ask you, would that be a book worth buying?
That is definitely a book worth anything that Jeff Sanders can come up with relating to our time at UD is probably worth a lapse.
All right. Well, this is a family show, so I don't want to get into any of the stories. That's probably pretty safe to say.
That's probably pretty safe to say, yeah. But no, those were great days, the days that you won't trade for anything.
I bet. Well, hey, listen, Coach, thanks for joining us tonight. Best of luck this season, and hope to be talking to you again real soon.
Guys, I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Coach.
Goodbye.
That was the head coach of the Minster Wildcats, Mike Wiss. And Ken, let me ask you, do you think they can do it? Do you think Minster has what it takes to get back to state or even win it?
Well, Craig, Coach hit the key word, and that's a lot of luck. Okay, you got to have talent, you got to have pitching. But I'm going to throw a for example at you. The other night, the Minster Wildcats played Covington. Okay, take nothing away from Covington, but their baseball team this year is not on any level compared to what Minster's is. Okay. Covington took him into the very last at-bat of the game, ended up losing 8-7 or 7-6, something like that. It takes a lot of luck to win 6 or 8 straight baseball games in tournament play. And you got to be good, you got to have pitching, but boy, I'm going to tell you what, it takes a lot of luck. So you can hit hard baseballs all night, and they might be line drives to everybody in that field. And the other team may hit 3 flares over second base or shortstop or somewhere in no man's land, and they'll score 3 runs, and you'll get beat 3-1.
Yeah. Well, you're right, and like you said, you do have to have a lot of talent. Speaking of talent, speaking of pitchers, he kind of talked about his rocket arms he's got on his team. You got Kanapke, and you got Huber, and then you got this Adam Niemeyer, the junior, who's just I heard he's thrown close to 90. Let me ask you, is he the best in this area?
Adam Niemeyer is probably the best junior pitcher in this area, okay? There's some other kids out there right now. Take nothing away. Rushi's got a couple really good junior pitchers. Fort Laramie's got a good junior pitcher. There's a lot of good junior pitchers out there. Senior-wise, you have to put Alex Baker from Lehman in the category of Adam Niemeyer. Alex throws extremely hard from Lehman. He gets about 2 strikeouts per inning, about like Adam. And You know, and if you want to go outside this area just a little bit, but not too far, just to the south of here, Craig, there might be the best high school baseball player in the nation 30 miles down the road pitching for Vandalia Butler. His name is Taylor Cherry. All Taylor is a 6'8" right-hander that's bringing it in the low to mid-90s. Right now, full ride to North Carolina on a baseball scholarship. Craig, I think he turns that down. I think he's a top 10 pick in the Major League Baseball draft comes soon.
I did not know that.
6'8", bringing it in the mid-90s already, and he's just 18 years old. So.
Well, like I said, I didn't know that, and that's why we have this show. We learn stuff like that every week, don't we?
Yes, we do.
All right. Well, speaking of strikeouts and baseball, let's go over our trivia question again before we close the show. Why don't you tell the viewers what the question was again, and let's find out if we had a winner.
Well, we do got a winner tonight. That's the good news. Tonight's question was, name the high school baseball player, Shelby County League, that holds the record for most strikeouts in a 7-inning game. The correct answer was given to us tonight by Clay George. So congratulations to Clay George, winner of tonight's trivia contest. The answer is, in 2006, Jackson Center senior Kevin Mann struck out 20 Anna Rockets in one baseball game, and also in the same year struck out 20 Fairlawn Jets. Okay?
Wow.
Now, the story gets interesting with the fact that, did you know, during that season, Kevin Mann struck out 188 batters in his senior season. That ranks second all-time in the state of Ohio. For his career, he struck out 510 batters in his career at Jackson Center. That ranks him second all-time, regardless of division, in the state of Ohio. What's interesting about it is the high school player right behind Kevin Mann, ranking third in the state of Ohio, happens to be Los Angeles All-Star, the Dodger pitcher, Chad Billingsley.
Sure.
Chad Billingsley played his high school baseball at Defiance, graduated in 2003, and he is actually ranked behind Jackson Center's Kevin Mann in the all-time strikeout list.
And he's having a pretty good season this year already.
Yes, he is. And in 2009, he made the National League All-Star team. He's one of the stars of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And, so congratulations, first of all, to Clay George for getting the answer. Congratulations to Kevin Mann for being the answer tonight's trivia contest, and also for being ahead of Chad Billingsley on the all-time Ohio strikeout list.
All right. Well, congratulations to all those people. And that's going to wrap it up for us here tonight, Ken. Before we go, I want to thank our sponsors like we do every week. You saw them all during the commercial. Speaking of that commercial, you might have noticed we got a new song on there from Rushi's own singer-songwriter, Mark Cantwell. Thanks to Mark for allowing us to use his music. Also, thanks to our coaches, Marti Phelan, Dan Schafer, for joining us on the interviews last night. Thanks to Minster coach Mike Wiss for joining us tonight. And thanks to all the viewers out there for tuning in again. Ken and I will be back again next week, same time, same place. And good night, everyone.